What's up? I'm Jay Dyer of Jay's Analysis, and this is my wife, Jamie.
What?
www.wife.com, jamie.com. Tonight we are catching up on our movie streams. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard.
Who were you talking about when you said that?
Nobody. It's not worth knowing. So tell us, dear Jamie, what are tonight's lists of movies that we will be analyzing? I thought, let's do In Too Deep. How's the song go?
You know I love you,
but I just can't take this. You know I love you, but I'm playing for keeps.
Yes. Keep going.
I don't remember the lyrics. I'm not gonna take it.
It's momcore.
I know. I'll put this above my head.
Too deep.
We're down there in Florida with Philip Collins.
Yeah.
Philip P. Collins the first.
So these
In Too Deep. Now that's about momcore music. Phil was in too deep with a single mom, but what we're doing is the theme of what happens to people who get in too deep. They get in over their heads. Normie people get in over their heads. And by the way, she's sitting on a high chair. She sits in a high chair because she has ever since she was a kid.
Yeah.
To feed on the nuggets of wisdom that we drop in these streams. Dropping nuggets of wisdom in the streams like cow patties. Dropping nuggets of wisdom like cow patties. And you can support us via the Streamlabs super chat there in Streamlabs. So there's a lot of movies, as I pondered, that have the theme of how can Phil Collins find love? Mm-hmm. Not really. How can a single mom find love with Phil Collins or Michael Bolton? Should she seek it out?
I feel like Phil Collins...
It takes a box of wine, it takes a pack of Virginia Slims, and it takes how's the Michael Bolton one go?
I said I loved you, but
I lied.
Yeah. This is more than love I
feel inside.
Yep. I feel like Phil Collins is a reasonable, gettable celebrity for like a mom. Like if she wanted to pursue a...
Yes. He doesn't really have Chad vibes,
no.
Does he? Could a mom get John Cicada?
Yeah. A mom could get Rod Stewart maybe.
Oh. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna find another way to make it through the day without you. Oh. Anyway, this has nothing to do with single mammies. This has everything to do with normal people getting wrapped up in things over their head. And that's kind of right, the theme of Eyes Wide Shut. And then we realized that, yes, I know, it's a theme in multiple Hitchcock movies, but we're not doing Hitchcock tonight. We've done many, many Hitchcock films. It's an excuse to get to a bunch of films that I've not gotten to and that we decided would be fun. The first of which is... Tell us the movies we're going to do first. List them all.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what order.
Enemy of the State.
Richard Marx, yes, is Momcore. We used to walk down by the river. That's about Kentucky, dude. That's about some trashy towns in Kentucky. Hazard.
Aerosmith is Dadcore.
Aerosmith is Dadcore.
Yeah.
That's not Momcore.
Someone said, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay. Enemy of the State.
We did a whole stream where I sung a bunch of garbage songs, by the way. Mom and Dadcore, but mainly Momcore.
Yes, check out the show on Rockfin called Easy A and Cruel Intentions. That's a good one.
That's not. It's just called Momcore and Dadcore.
Oh, but the movies that we talked about.
That's on YouTube, babe.
What's then? What show?
Momcore and Dadcore.
Okay. So then we have
we got Sandra Bullock in The Net. Mm-hmm. We got Enemy of the State with William Smoof.
The Firm with Tom Cruise.
And Hugh Jackman.
And
The Firm with
Megan.
with Tom Coombe in the Cooman Islands.
We have
That's
Lord
my
of
Tom
War.
Cruise. That's my Tom Coombe laugh.
The The Game.
Yes, The Game.
And Parallax View.
Parallax View. So I hope you guys heard all those. And thank you for the super chats. We'll get those in a minute. Daughtry. Is that Momcore 2000's Momcore? Yeah, I guess so.
Daughtry. Oh, yeah. He won the American Idol or something, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but it sounds
Yeah.
momish. Daughters, moms. That sounds momish.
So let's start with Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State definitely gets into high level NSA surveillance. This was ahead of its time. And I'm glad that we finally had come to dissect this because now we live in the world that this movie was projecting. And it's weird because this was under the era of W. Sure, there were the times of the mustard gases or W. You could criticize these things, right? But it was only because W was in charge supposedly, and then it was trendy to be anti-establishment. But if it's Bo Jiden or if it's old Barack up there, then it's liberal. So you see, that's why this film was so prescient and was so critical of the establishment. Was this is right before the Big Nine, fake flag Big Nine, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, in Enemy of the State, the villain is the NSA. And you don't see that in movies today. So you've got the
every now and then, right? I mean, there's the Oliver Stone, Snowden, but like I said, under W, mustard gases, it's okay to be anti-establishment.
Wars are bad when W did it.
Yeah,
they're good when Obama.
They're good when it's exactly.
So this is John Voight high up in the NSA. Starts out with a meeting with a chairman about telecommunications.
Yeah, the
Security
Telecommunications
and Privacy Act they call it,
yeah,
which was
passed under Clinton, I think, and then this is actually standing for the Patriot Act is basically what this is prescient for the Patriot Act.
Mm-hmm. So the old coot is against it, and John Voight's trying to sway
Vote
him.
Senator Old Coot.
Yes, he's like, invasion of privacy, more like it. Remember?
Yes.
So
I support Old Coot platform.
Yes. He has been
Have
around
privacy.
and he knows the corruptness of this game. He will not vote for it, so he gets a stabby in the neck for that.
Right. He's taken out. We have the assassination of a political figure early on in the film.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, John Voight's always playing these kind of roles. That's interesting.
And Gene Hackman is in a couple of these tonight.
Yeah. The Conversation, of course, is a great Gene Hackman film, like what we're doing today, but we did not cover The Conversation in this stack of movies.
Mm-hmm. So then you have Gene Hackman and Lisa Bonet, and Will Smith is a lawyer.
Yes.
And Will Smith's clients is the mob. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
There's this mob case he's working on. These two families are fighting, and that's just kind of in the background of what's going to happen to him.
What is Will Smith, a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember.
He's a big fancy lawyer.
Okay.
And he's working with the mob. And his informant, his interface is this guy named Brill, who turns out to be Gene Hackman, who turns out to be ex-NSA.
Yes.
Right?
Right. And as everybody I'm sure knows, Hugh Jackman has a curious date on his birth certificate or on his driver's license, and it just happens to be a 9 and a couple other 1s for his birthday.
No, that's the birthday of John Voight in this movie.
Okay.
Did you say that? No.
It's Gene Hackman.
No, I wrote it down there. John Voight's birthday is
Okay.
that. Anyways, so there's video of this crime that happened in the first scene.
Mm-hmm.
and this guy gets a video of it who was like filming ducks or something. But I thought that was interesting because even then they're saying that everything is caught on camera. And everything will eventually be surveilled.
Oh, I see. Because what happens with the senator is not unique in that it's saying it's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, and like there's just so many cameras recording at all times. Like everything's going to be.
And this was in the late 90s.
Yeah.
So this was, again, very way ahead of its time.
Yeah. So you've got them figuring out that this bird watcher got it on tape, and that's what sets off the whole hunt for this evidence that the old coot got the stabby in the neck and got murdered at the lake, right? So then Will Smith gets wrapped up in this only by way of him dropping the disc. You know how they always have...
It's not. I told you. It's Gene Hackman's thing. Thomas Brian Reynolds, 9/11/40. That's not...
When they look up, it might be... When they look up his stuff on their database.
It's not John Voight. It's Gene Hackman's.
Okay. We might
right
have to
here.
make a doggy
Look.
bet.
There's the screenshot.
But he's reading about John Voight on the computer screen. He's pulling up all his stuff.
So Thomas Reynolds is not Gene Hackman?
Right. Thomas Reynolds is a John Voight character.
Okay.
Pretty sure. We can make a dog movie bet.
Well, the problem is that Gene Hackman has a bunch of aliases in the show, in the movie. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And he himself is former military intelligence NSA, but he realized how bad the system is, so he's like, the archetypal conspiracy theorist hiding out.
Yeah. He got screwed over by them.
Okay, you're right. So the director of Thomas Reynolds is...
I should have bet you I could be watching Dreamgirls.
Not going to happen. So isn't that an interesting birthday there? Interesting little birthday. But yeah, that's it. Okay. I was once in a blue moon wrong.
So who else we have? Jack Black and Seth Green. I didn't expect to see these guys in the movie. Mm-hmm. They work for the NSA.
Right. And remember, there's Jack Black is in X-File, which is interesting. He's in the one where Giovanni Ribisi plays the guy with the power over electricity. And he's hitting on his teacher. Miss Kavit, you want to ride away with me in a Corolla, Miss Kavit? I can get you a Corolla if you want one. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, he can get any car, and he tries to seduce his teacher by offering her a Corolla.
Yep. So
somebody needs to teach Giovanni Ribisi some lightning game. He's spitting that Corolla game.
Yep.
I could get you probably like a Toyota Eon or whatever.
Mm-hmm. A Kia.
A Geo.
Ew. So, I thought that was interesting that his whole life, well, once they have their...
I misread your note. The computer noticed a bulge in Will Smith.
Oh, that was so stupid. Like...
a bulge in the bag.
Yeah, they're getting...
Not just...
The things they can do in this movie are over the top. Like, he's in a lingerie store, and there's a security camera, and when he passes the disc to him, a bulge appears in his shopping bag, and that's how the NSA knows that Will Smith has the device now with the evidence on it. It was
I know, but
really
your note
dumb.
just said the computers notice a bulge in Will Smith. I'm like,
yeah,
no, we don't want computers doing that now. Did he cheat with Lisa Bonet?
Yes.
Or that in the past?
It was in the past. But they're still meeting.
But they're using that over him, right?
Yeah, and
they profile him because they know everything about everybody from internets, and this will come up in Sandra Bullock's The Net.
They turn off his credit cards. They turn off his utilities, like everything.
They go full Klaus Schwab. They go full Gil Bates.
They break in and steal his stuff.
We're gonna have to get Will Smith's numbers down. We're gonna have to get that bulge down.
Mm-hmm. So it was funny how they portrayed that NSA was a bunch of like unscrupulous nerds with a god complex, though Jack Black and Seth Green. And
Yeah, it's not
the
generals,
soldiers.
Malthusian generals. It's just happy-go-lucky nerds. You're right.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Gene Hackman never looks up because of the satellites. Remember that? They're like,
No, I forgot.
they couldn't get him on facial recognition because he never looks up.
He throws away the cell phones, though. Remember that part where
Yeah.
he throws it off the building? And
Yeah.
which is kind of careless, because if you just toss a cell phone on the top of a building, I mean, you could kill somebody. It's kind of careless.
We got our classic abandoned factory that Hacker Man lives in.
Gene Hackerman, always hiding out in a paranoid schizo mode. But living inside an old factory is an odd place. But he has a Faraday cage inside the factory, remember? He lives in the Faraday cage, and that way they can't surveil him via satellites or whatever.
Yeah. So let's see. They're talking about, he's a former NSA communication analyst. He tells him the story of like they're always scouring the net and the phone lines for certain keywords like BOMB.
Sure. Well, that was
And-
keyword stuff existed back when computers.
ALLAH.
That's existed since
Yeah.
computers were new.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in James Bamford's 1982 NSA book, Puzzle Palace. They had keyword technology back then. So
Will Smith teams up with Gene Hackerman and saves
they
him.
bust the bad apples at the NSA.
They hack the hackers because they're that good.
That's what you got to
Or
do in
what to do,
movies is
yeah.
hack the hackers. I'm serious, right?
But then the climax scene was interesting. So he used the mob against John Voight NSA people. Like he's like, yeah, you want the tape? I got your tape. So he takes him to the mob place.
And we'll see that with Tom Coombe. Tom Coombe will ally with the mob against the basically CIA law firm.
Yeah. So he gets the mob and John.
And by the way, it's Gene Hackerman that runs the law firm.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So if you're ever in a situation that you feel is over your head,
Call up Tony Soprano.
or Gene Hackman will help you.
Yeah, that's right. Because at the end of the firm, he does end up helping. That's true.
Oh, that's what I liked about him in the firm. Like, he did nothing wrong. Not nothing, but I was team firm almost. We'll talk about it. Anyway, we'll get there.
Tom Coombe.
Yep.
Coombin Islands.
So John Voight and the mob shoot out each other, and Will Smith outsmarts them all, and Gene Hackman ends up on a
Right,
bench.
but you said at the end, Jack Black thinks that they were just doing a drill the whole time.
Yeah, so when they all get arrested and questioned, Seth Green and Jack Black are like, we thought it was just your standard operation.
Drill as cover. How many times have we talked about this over and over and over? We just covered this recently. And by the way, the recent stream over on The Rock, you can go listen to my 3 different breakdowns of counterintelligence and this kind of stuff, including that kind of stuff that I just mentioned. So, yeah, way ahead of its time. Definitely predictive programming, but definitely talking about the coming surveillance world that we live in, anticipating the Snowden kind of stuff, anticipating WikiLeaks type of stuff, right? I mean, what's in Enemy of the State is remember, it's pre-Big Nine. It's pre-Patriot Act. That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, Enemy of the State, again, telling you the world that you would live in. Hollywood telling you ahead of time what's coming. Here we are 20 years later, 22 years later, whatever it is.
And I think...
Is it 98? Enemy of the State, 98?
Something like that.
98, yeah.
I think Eagle Eye should get an honorable mention here, too, because that one is also...
Spurgy LaBeouf. And he is always spurging out, right? Spurgy LaBeouf, right?
Yeah. But that one also has...
Nathaniel Witwicky.
I can't even talk like Spurgy LaBeouf, but that's what he does, right?
Nathaniel Witwicky. Optimus Prime, we've chosen you.
Right.
Shia LaBeouf has a lot of lines in every movie, for sure.
Spurgy LaBeouf.
Spurgy LaBeouf. But no, Eagle Eye is another one where the government is the villain. But in Eagle Eye, it's actually AI.
Well, it's the government's AI, and then it gets out of hand, and then we're not going to do a whole breakdown of Eagle Eye, but it's worth mentioning in this stream because he is the normie dude who is just he's a copy store clerk, and he just plays poker with his buddies. But his brother, his twin brother, was some kind of Air Force drone pilot guy, and then I think the brother ends up dead, and the computer picks. Do we ever know why he picked Shia LaBeouf because of? Why did he pick it? Why did the AI pick him?
AI killed the twin, and then he needed his DNA for something, so he got him to come there.
Why did the AI kill Shia LaBeouf's twin brother?
Because he was in charge of it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So there was a secret military program. That's right, running this AI that was programmed to protect democracy.
Yes.
Who believes this nonsense,
and
right?
So the threats
like the fakest auspices of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna have the AI to protect democracy, and then the computer goes crazy, right? And then it's gonna do what? Like,
it has to kill humans. It's the old chestnut of like, to save humanity, you have to kill humans, I see, yeah. Right?
So Eagle Eye is not a bad movie. It's like a Spielberg B movie kind of. I mean, I think he produced it. I don't remember who directed it, but you get the two characters who, normies. Michelle Monaghan is the other normie that gets caught up in it with him, the single mom. And then, do they end up together?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Nathaniel Witwicky
with single mom. And then they go crazy in this big long adventure, and then they save America from the evil AI.
The whole movie is adventure.
But I'm saying it's they end up destroying the AI. I don't know how it ends.
They saved it. They kill the AI and save.
Did they shut down the program? How did it end? I fell asleep.
I forgot.
Well, but again, Eagle Eye, right? So all-seeing eye of surveillance, and this was mid 2000s. I remember seeing it when it came out, 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there. But not a terrible movie, but it is relevant for the idea of AI, predictive algorithmic tracking, programming, etc. Looking and surveilling and scanning all the mass data, and that's welcome to the world that we live in now. Now AI is not conscious. It can't become conscious. So stupid, right? This idea that AI, that algorithms can become conscious. It's just retarded, right? But, yeah. Sandra Bullock in The Net.
Let's talk about
The Net.
This was so 90s.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
And by the way,
it was essence of 90s.
There's no hacker woman that looks like Sandra Bullock. Okay.
No.
She does not, especially not in the 90s.
No.
Right? Nobody in the 90s. She looks like a mom, dude. She's not a mom hacker. Mom's on the net. Give me a break, dude.
Well, this one starts out with an...
Is Sandra Bullock momcore?
Yeah.
She's a hero momcore.
Well,
what?
She's
not dadcore.
She's a zennial mom.
She's not really.
Like Hope
She's not exactly a boomer.
And
you're right.
Practical Magic, and those are like a little like our age.
Okay.
So if we were parents, then yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But this one starts out with a phone call to Mr. Secretary, politician man, and he gets some bad news and he kills himself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then we'll find out later what the bad news is.
I had actually never seen The Net. Believe it or not, somehow in the 90s I just missed this one, and then throughout the 2000s, I was just always heard it was a terrible movie. It's terrible in a fun way. It's a terrible 90s piece of cheese, but it's a great cultural specimen, and it has a lot of predictive elements for its age. I mean, they were using terms in this is what, 90, what year was it? 93?
95.
95. They were using like LOL and LMAO, and I was like, they had this stuff. I didn't in 1995. I didn't know what LOL was.
There's a lot of advertising for things on the net in this movie. Like she orders pizza online in 1995.
Yes.
She is chatting in the
she was doing all the chat rooms. I remember chat rooms. I had never seen a chat room in 1995. I think the first time I ever went in Yahoo Chat, and I would argue with people in there about theology. Probably 98.
You know,
That was the first time I think I ever went in a chat room.
the
98.
first person online in my family was my grandma. And she would get on a play yeah, like online cards with other grannies online.
Got that 56K. She would play online cards with grannies?
Yeah. Or whoever was playing online cards.
Or was she playing online cards with Zero Cool
Yeah.
and Sandra
She was
Bullock
playing
without
with
knowing
hackers.
it? Without knowing it, dude.
And we inherited our first computer from my grandma who used it to play cards.
By the way, I did cover Hackers like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We should redo it because my old streams are not... I was too reserved and too normal when I would... And so in this movie we see... and I'm like, no, come on. I should just be me. You know, but it takes years of live streaming and talking to be yourself. Because when you start, you just... This movie is about very bad things. The net... you know what I mean? It's very wooden and it's very boring.
Yeah.
So beware of my old shows. They're kind of wooden, like Sandra Bullock. So what happens?
And her name's Angela. I thought that was interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Because like angels on the net.
It's a strip. That's a stripper mom name.
Yeah.
Angel. My name Angel.
Angel, yeah. So she's chatting with Cyber Bob, and it's already showing her getting hit on by bunches of
Angels
guys.
on the net. What do you mean?
I don't know. Like she's like a guardian angel on the net or something.
For who?
For people, because she does security.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So she works at like a firewall, like she's like a '90s John McAfee girl.
Yeah.
Which totally is not. This woman would not be doing this.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. But yeah.
So, and then her mom has Alzheimer's, and so she has nobody. Like she lives her whole life online.
And so they profile the person
Yeah.
with no immediate relatives, right? And what did we just talk about in the intelligence, counterintelligence streams that we did? Profiling, right? Data gathering, weak points.
Mm-hmm.
So these evil hacker men, they find the weak points on Sandra Bullock's life.
Yep. She is vulnerable because she's isolated on the net.
And she doesn't have a man's. She ain't got no
Yeah.
man's. Why not? Because she's
all the
on the
cyber
net.
bombs. Yes.
She lives on the net. Mom's on the net. If you've not seen Moms on the Net, go watch Moms on the Net. Go ahead. I'm going to find it for the good people. All the good people need to say. Go ahead.
Another thing is she books her vacation online. So that's like advertising for cheap tickets, and all those things are just coming up in those days, remember?
Yeah, but here's Moms on the Net. If you're not familiar, everyone should be familiar with Moms on the Net. Save that for later. Don't watch it now.
Did you put it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
What?
Remember, there was some crazy stuff early on with the earliest version of this I found, and there's probably an earlier version. I'm sure the good old Jay's Analysis nerds could find something earlier, but Running Man, 1987, with Arnold. Arnold orders his plane tickets on the Infonet online. He goes over to his TV and then he's got a Hawaiian shirt on. What's his line? You fucked it all up. We got to get to Hawaii. We got to get to Hawaii.
He's like,
Isn't that
I
what he
had
says?
the shirt, but you effed it up.
Yeah. I had the shirt to get to Hawaii. Ordered the tickets on the Infonet.
Yeah.
And that was 87. That's pretty crazy.
So she's living life on the net already. And then when
She was a mom on the net. This was like, Sandra Bullock was a mom on the net, dude.
Yeah. And her mom had Alzheimer's.
Right. So anyway, so they found a totally unbelievable character who is alone on the net, no friends, no family, and they send a raven. They send a raven, a sex operative man. Mm-hmm. And how do they do this? Well, what's interesting about this part is that they have tracked her, everything she said in the chat rooms. Moms on the net, chatting in the chat rooms to the other moms. Except she's not a mom. And she's talked about her man fantasies. Mm-hmm. Single man fantasy. And she wants a dashing, daring,
Heroic
heroic spy man.
Yeah.
Right, a James Bond. And so, what do you know when she goes to the Bahamas or wherever she goes for vacation? She happens to run into dashing spy man. And
So this is another classic one where they're after the disc again.
yes,
It's
so they're
always
after
like-
the hard disk, right?
Yeah.
Remember with 3x3 inch hard disks?
Floppies.
I
Yep.
used to put my college papers my freshman year on the hard disks.
Yep.
And so Sandra has incriminating information somehow. She accidentally stepped into a back door into there's
yeah.
information on a government guy who has supposedly been infected with the AIDS, not little AIDS, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's not true, and she's stumbled onto this back door into all this cyber terror stuff, right?
Yeah, because check it.
Because she's like Mrs. John McAfee.
There have been all of these cyber attacks, like LAX.
That's right.
And
It's all over the news.
Yeah, so
and she
they're-
accidentally, the Pi group.
fakey flaggy.
Praetorians.
Yeah.
That's it.
So there's this group of terrorists.
Terrorists.
Yes.
Yes.
Cyber terrorists. And then there's the solution, which is the other.
Oh,
company.
that's right. It's like the Gil Bates dude
Yes.
owns and controls
So who?
the
Yeah.
terrorists.
He's doing.
There you go.
He's doing the things so that you'll buy the software.
That was it. So right. So the guy that has the big Gil Bates Microsoft type thing is running the cyber quote terrorist group because he has the fix to the virus.
So they're making all this stuff happen, like fake stocks crashing, and what else?
Well, yeah, all the things that would happen in a cyber terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and then so in the adventure, they erase her identity. They take all her stuff and
They
take
replace her with a
house.
THOT, dude.
Yeah,
They find a skanky woman of ill repute to give her her new identity.
Yeah, and they just replace everything about her. She winds up in jail. So she's easily disappeared because nobody knows her in person, and her mom doesn't remember her. It's sad. And then they find out what? Oh, Dennis Miller is her psychotherapist. Do you remember that part?
Yeah. By the way, I was looking through. Dennis Miller has a huge house, dude. He's got this gigantic palace. It's crazy. I'm thinking, how much did they pay him to be in the net? How much did he make from the net, dude?
Yeah.
He bought this giant house. But aside from that, he plays this nerdy psychiatrist character that we think maybe they're going to end up together, but doesn't he get killed? He gets poisoned, right? So then we realize that the group that she's up against, right, has all the powers of an intelligence agency at their disposal. They even send fake FBI people, right? She gets bailed out of jail and she thinks, oh, finally I've been rescued. And turns out it's a fake FBI person who's just there to get this stupid disc, which the disc ends up like destroyed or something. That part was ridiculous where she ends up in a convent bed after floating in sea for 3 days or so. That was ridiculous.
No,
But
you always end up in a hospital bed being taken care of by nuns after traumatic.
But the disc was destroyed, so what happened to the information? I forget this part. Anyway, she had that.
That's why when she goes back home and everything's been taken from her and she goes to jail and she's lost everything and then.
So then she has to hack the hackers.
Yes.
Yeah. She figures out that it's the Gil Bates dude that runs this software company.
The gatekeeper is what it's called.
Gatekeeper?
The gatekeeper software. So she has to out-hack the hackers like you do. There's also a march for healthcare.
The chick is skanky. That's not, you laughing. She is, dude. Not Sandra
The
Bullock.
fake Sandra Bullock?
The fake Sandra Bullock
Yeah.
is skanky.
Well, she's an assassin killer lady. She's got to be
Well,
hard.
no, they said that she really was the character that had been a prostitute and had done all this stuff.
With the record?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
And they just gave that woman's record to Sandra.
Yep.
To Cassandra.
So you have the Pan Pacific Computer Convention, which is where the whole like out hacking goes down.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
I like how when she puts a virus into the computer, it melts the screen. Like that's what a virus does. Could you imagine? Like in the 90s, the Hollywood execs were like, we don't think the audience really knows computers yet. They're pretty new. Maybe like we don't like what is a virus exactly? Maybe it melts the screen, right? Like that's what a virus does, right?
Yeah.
Like.
I like the dramatic.
Like the computer smokes, right, and melts. Yeah, like what?
There's the whole dramatic pushing of the escape button because it's always like the last button you have to push, and you're out of time and you're like reaching for the ESC button.
Control Alt Delete, dude. Blue screen. Remember blue screens?
Yeah.
Control Alt Delete, blue screen.
So, how many discs do you give the net? You remember?
It gets 2 floppy disks and 3 hard disks. 3 by 3 hard disks.
Remember, you could buy the hard disk in a pack because they only
gets
hold like 2 papers each.
1 bullcock hard disk. Ha ha ha. Yes, you could buy a whole pack of those. Remember those? Yep.
Yeah. I like this one just because that was like peak 90s.
There was more stuff in there than I expected, and this whole like the cyber terrorish, right? This is a thing that never really developed. Like, remember in the 90s when there was all the hacker movies that came out, that was a big thing, the phenomena. And then there weren't really all of these cyber terror hacking everywhere. Like it didn't really exist and manifest like they said it would, right?
What's that Die Hard one?
Yeah, the Die Hard 4 or 5 is the one where we need to cover that because that's another private NSA with backdoors into everything that does the cyber terror. So yeah. All right, Tom Coombe in the
Firm.
The Firm.
This one.
In the Cooman Islands. That's my best joke of the year. The best joke, dude. Now this was a big surprise to me because I did not expect, and I had not seen The Firm in many years. And boy, does it take on a new vantage point, a new angle now that we've done our lectures on organized crime, right? The history of the 5 families. I totally missed that. I wasn't that cognizant back when I watched The Firm. I probably 10 years ago was the last time I watched this movie. I didn't know much about the history of organized crime. It's everywhere. This whole movie is about that.
Yeah.
This is the Firm is the organized crimes law firm. At least the Chicago Outfits firm, right? So Chicago Outfit is using this Memphis law firm in the story, which is interesting because, of course, John Grisham. I think he lived in Memphis on the river. Yeah, it was John Grisham who bought a Memphis river house because I guess he liked Memphis, or I don't know if he's from Memphis, where he's from, but. I'm not aware of any law firms in Memphis that are CIA connected. I'm sure there are some that exist, but presumably this would actually be in some other city, right? I mean, it would be DC, Chicago-based law firms, right? That would obviously be CIA connected. But I mean, I suppose it's plausible that there could be Memphis law firms connected to the CIA, but I don't exactly know where and how John Grisham got the idea for this story, but it's definitely, right, it's hinting at this CIA type connection because he's recruited at Harvard, right? Tom Coombe is he's finishing up the Harvard degree.
He's a hotshot.
He's the hotshot. And then Gene Hackerman and the dude that plays Deep Throat in X-Files and a couple other people show up and they're like, hey, we want you. And they win him over by all this money. Because remember,
$68,000 a year. Wow.
Well, in 1991 money or whatever, that was a lot. But they gave him a Mercedes, $68,000, and a house.
It's a Rosemary's Baby scenario.
It is kind of Rosemary's Baby.
Because the firm is also like a Stepford Wives firm. Like they're taking over his wife's life.
They want to control everything.
Yeah.
And
because the law firm's like a family or like a cult.
That's why I think it's hinting that it's like a CIA firm because they act just like an organized crime unit. They call it the family. It's an organization. right? The company, the firm.
There's no divorced people in it, no bachelors, so they kind of have this.
You have to keep up all these appearances.
Yeah.
And, of course, the big bazinga puzzle piece is that they run an island compromise operation. Just like Jeff Stein-Effrey. They run a Jeff Stein-Effrey compromise operation where you go to the Cooman Islands with Tom Coom and you get propositioned by... It doesn't actually say how young this girl is. She could be 15.
Oh.
She could be 20. But...
Two.
Right, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the first girl is older, right? She's more like the age of Tom Cruise's wife in the film. And then he says no, and then he stumbles off because he's been drinking to the beach, and they send another girl. So this is a very sophisticated operation. They're able to set everything up, organize everything at this island. They have a giant house, right? Like a private residence on this island that looks like an Airbnb, like a B&B. So they have a tremendous amount of wealth and power. And they actually go, right, this first time to the Caymans to meet with the guy from the Chicago outfit, right, the Chicago mobster. And the Tom Cruise character is still naive. He doesn't really understand what's going on. But he's starting to pick up on the fact that, wait a minute, what I thought was a kind of small law firm is actually very well connected. They're connected internationally to people with a lot of money. And this guy's suspicious, right? This totally sus Chicago organized crime dude. He starts picking up on it. He notices all the files they have stored at this facility, this big estate that they've got in the Cayman Islands. So he's all sus, right? He thinks it's all shady, but they've offered him, it's too good of a deal. They've just bought him basically with trinkets and goodies. And his wife, as is always the case, the wife is always, this doesn't sound right. I don't like this. But with normies caught up in layer cake operations.
Yes, he's in over his head.
He's in over his head pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then he meets Ed Harris, who is the FBI guy, who's also on his tail.
Right. Well,
so this puts him in a weird position.
He's like a SJW idealist crusader. He thinks he's going to be an altruistic lawyer. And then he's realizing that the firm is kind of unscrupulous and he's got some decisions to make, but then they trap him with the affair. Right.
So they get everything on him, and then they've got this dirt. They compromised him.
Yeah.
And
which was so dumb. Like, he knew the first girl was a trap, and then they set up where he rescued another girl, and then she immediately wants to do it, and he goes for it.
I'm not sure if he knew the first girl was a trap. I don't think he knew that. I think he...
You don't think so?
No, because he would have... If he knew that was a trap, he would have thought the second one was a trap. He just wasn't interested in that first woman, and then the next scenario actually ended up working.
Well, he knew that Gene Hackman had bought her for him or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it gives the impression that this is a high class lady of the evening. Yeah, that's right. And Gene Hackman basically says, we can order whatever you want. Right. You can get anything here.
Oh, meanwhile, all these lawyers in his firm are dying.
Right. So we've also seen that they have the ability to assassinate. Right. So they have the ability to knock people off. Presumably, this could relate then,
whack them off.
To the firms, either intelligence connections or to their organized crime connections.
Yep. So they're basically doing is helping mob with tax avoidance, tax evasion, tax laws, which they see as a game.
But it turns out they're also scamming everyone, including the mob. Right. So the firm is actually double charging everybody the hours. Right. And so Tom Coom figures out that this is the only way he can get them. Right. The only way he could get an entity as big and powerful as the firm is to get them on this, big, basically ripping everyone off. And of course, he ends up frazzled. And I should add, too, there's a lot of scenes in this film, oddly enough, that are very reminiscent of years later, Eyes Wide Shut. Scenes where Tom is just sort of wandering and meandering in the city late at night, wondering about Tom lamenting and sorrowing over his sex issues with his wife. Very reminiscent of Eyes Wide Shut scenes. This shadowy, secretive group that seemingly has the ability to do anything that an intelligence agency could do. Right? I mean, a lot of parallels here to this movie. I mean, Tom Cruise himself, right? I mean, I don't know. I wonder if Kubrick wasn't perhaps pulling partly from The Firm, now that I look back on it. Although, certainly The Firm is not as quality of a film as Eyes Wide Shut. This film is kind of goofy. The music is
it's definitely
ridiculous.
not as dark because of the jazz
Right.
that's always going
And
on.
they
It
wanted-
makes it feel like more of a caper than a serious movie.
And I don't know why they chose jazz.
Well,
Given
Memphis?
no, it would be blues. Why wouldn't you
Yeah.
choose blues if you want to set this in Memphis and you've got dudes doing backflips and then Tom Cruise out of nowhere does a backflip, which is weird.
Yeah, he was flipping in Memphis.
What? Oh, flipping and Tom Cruise was flipping in Memphis. I was flipping with my feet 10 feet off a coom. Cooming in Memphis.
What a character.
Me or Tom?
Both y'all. Oh, so
We're like peas in a pod.
Tom has this other way they can manipulate him, which is his brother's in prison.
Oh yeah.
So-
That part gets all like with all
Yeah. The FBI is like playing his brother like a pawn, and it's
the
all-
plot gets kind of preposterous towards the end, and the crazy Elvis truck driver who for no reason helps them out, and then his wife leaves him for Tom Cruise's brother. I mean, all of that part is just kind of like a cartoon. It makes no sense, but it is worth watching if you're looking for something preposterous and 90s and cheese. And by the way, it's got an evil Beatus, an evil Lord Beatus, Wilford Brimley himself.
Do not get in
Beatus.
the car if Wilford Brimley.
Get in the car and take a ride. Got something to show you.
Right.
No.
Do not get in a car with a low blood sugared Wilford Brimley who's mad. Wilford Brimley is if his blood sugar levels are off, you're about to get some Beatus rage, dude.
You know, all of this is happening before he's even passed his bar exam, too, because he has to study for it while all of this is going on.
And Ed
he
Harris,
got the
while
sec-
he's studying, Ed Harris comes and tells him, the FBI tells him that he's in trouble.
Yeah.
So just the worst possible nightmare situation for Tom. By the way, yes, I'm very aware of After Hours also could be in this series, although it's satire and there's not really any purpose or like there's not an overall shady group that's organizing all the stuff that the character is going through in Scorsese's classic After Hours. But After Hours is a great film. If you've never seen After Hours, definitely go watch it. It's a really, really well made 80s satire and what's his name? Dominic. It's on the tip of my tongue, but he didn't do a whole lot after the 80s, but he plays it very well as the straight guy who gets wrapped up in just the weirder and weirder and weirder situations throughout the night. But there's no grand sort of conspiracy or shady group behind it. It's just what if a guy had the worst night imaginable?
Oh, I remember watching
Yeah,
that movie.
it's a great movie.
Yeah. I like those when it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, that's exactly one of those.
So, I think the goofiest thing in this movie is when he is trying to escape and he jumps into a cotton truck that just happens to be driving underneath the window. That was really dumb. Remember that part?
Yes. Well, in movies, garbage is always like packing foam, lettuce.
Yeah.
The only thing in Hollywood
Noodles.
world that gets thrown away is noodles
Yeah.
and food. And very soft foods, right? That's all that's ever... There's never like a bunch of damn metal or chunks of glass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Jars.
you can always hop out a window in any movie.
Yes. Let's see. The wife, after...
Dominic Dunn. Something Dunn. It's the guy in After Hours. So go ahead.
This is kind of dumb. After getting cheated on, the wife goes on the mission to help him take down the firm and seduce Gene Hackman.
Well, yeah, you always have to include your, your buddies all around you, right? And that part's ridiculous. Like, she goes to seduce Gene Hackman on her own. I mean,
her and the secretary.
No normie wife would be engaging in all this espionage activity
and making copies with the secretary. Remember that part?
Yeah, the Gary Busey cokehead guy, private detective who just happens to stand up for his moral principles.
Which
he would never do.
Really, I feel the most sorry for in this movie was that husband who was a truck driver who helped the brother escape, and then his wife left him and she was cheating on him with Gary Busey. And he did nothing and he helped the guy. So
it's not Dominic Dunn. I've got it wrong. I've got to figure out who this is. Keep going.
Okay.
I got to figure out who this is, or I'm gonna go
more
crazy.
dumb things about the firm. Let's see.
That's it though, isn't it? That's all the main stuff. Griffin Dunn. I can't believe Dominic Dunn. What do I think? Griffin Dunn. Duh.
There's a scene where he's walking through Memphis and
great movie.
Did you figure it out now?
Griffin Dunn.
Okay. There's a scene where he's walking in Memphis in his trench coat, thinking about his sexual problems with his wife, just like Eyes Wide Shut.
I just said that. Were you not listening 5 minutes ago?
Oh. Sometimes
when I talk, she just turns off the sound.
No.
It's like she goes into a little closed vacuum bubble of her own head, and she doesn't even hear any of the things that I mentioned multiple parallels to Eyes Wide Shut.
Sorry.
But that's okay. We still like you.
I do that.
We still like you around here.
I can look you right in the face and you say something and I have no idea what you just said.
The audience knows. They know you. I was walking in Memphis. Walking with my feet 10 feet off of Tom Cruise.
He made a deal with the mobsters in the end. Did you say that?
Yeah, you always have to ally with the mob to be the bigger group. So.
I like how he had to escape Wilford Brimley, who was really scary, actually, pursuing him. Right?
Remember in The Thing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes Wilford Brimley can play a villain. He turns into the big goopy creature in The Thing.
When his beatus activates, he turns cranky and will kill you.
He can go from soft, pudgy teddy bear man, looks like a walrus, to assassin, psycho assassin. All on the basis of blood sugar levels.
Do you want to do one more?
Diabetes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's see what we got.
Magus Game, Parallax View, Golden Child, Lord of War.
That stupid Eddie Murphy laugh. He does it a bunch in Golden Child, by the way. I want the knife.
Yeah. That's a good one. So you want to do that one?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
We've been wanting to do Golden Child for a long time, and I'm sorry that I haven't done it, but it actually ties in very well to themes that we've been discussing lately. Not just with the normie dude caught up in too deep, but also biker gangs, Hell's Angels, trafficking, cults, serial killers, dude. It's all in this 80s classic.
A cult?
The cults.
Yeah.
Satanic cults, even.
Yeah.
Numsy. Played by Tywin Lannister.
Oh,
interestingly.
Right.
So Tywin Lannister plays a high-level demon sorcerer in human form, who is sent to steal and destroy the Dalai Lama. So
when he's a child.
Tibetan Buddhism, maybe approximating like a David Lynch worldview here. So we've got Tibetan Buddhism, and Eddie is playing the detective who looks for lost kids. So the interesting setting is 80s Los Angeles, where he's out and he works and helps to find lost and trafficked kids. So again, another theme that keeps coming up in 80s movies. We saw this in Big Trouble in Little China. Remember that's actually about trafficking of women, if you remember. The Asian women in that film. But the spirituality is very bizarre. It's Tibetan Buddhism, but Eddie Murphy is the chosen one who stumbles into this role of the kind of goofy American hero, but much like the Jack Burton, Mr. Burton, right? The Jack Burton character in Big Trouble in Little China. So this is a lot of parallels to Big Trouble in Little China between these two movies.
I always got these.
And this is and it's not a John Carpenter movie. It's Ivan Reitman. I forget who it is, but it's definitely a weird take. I think it was probably a vehicle for Eddie, right? They wanted to use. I mean, this is when he was really exploding. He was, 48 Hours, Lethal Weapon, not Lethal Weapon. What's Eddie Murphy's? Beverly Hills Cop, though. So he was at the top of his game. This is where he was starting to really get big, and I like this movie. I grew up liking this movie, even though it's goofy, it's silly. The grossest thing ever was that bloody oatmeal. That always grossed me. I always thought that just, ugh, dude. Is there anything grosser than bloody oatmeal?
No.
I can't think of anything in the world.
So they're trying to get this holy kid to defile himself, and they give him the bloody oatmeal.
That was really dumb too, by the way, because I was trying to remember, why was there bloody oatmeal? They were trying to trick this goofy little Dalai Lama kid into eating blood because then he wouldn't be truly vegetarian vegan.
Yeah.
Totally goofy, right?
Well,
This is
and the
ridiculous.
kid has magic powers. He can bring things back from the dead. He's got butterflies on him.
Somehow he's the salvation of the world. I mean,
Right.
we don't know why,
Yeah,
but
he's
I mean,
an Antichrist character.
okay, but I mean, in
A
the
false Christ.
in the narrative of the story, though, we don't know why. It's just that just vague spirituality, right, of the Dalai Lama and the we're never told exactly why, but he's just the salvation of the world. It's a very kind of simplistic mythology, although there was things in it that I didn't expect, right? Like the first thing that Eddie stumbles upon is that there's these biker gangs that are trafficking people, and they're connected to satanic cults. Now, this at the time was seen as, right, like, oh, that's satanic panic, that's all fake, right? But now, looking back, we know that studying the serial killers, no, that wasn't all fake, right? I mean, there could be satanic panic stuff that was fake and exaggerated as a psyop to make the whole thing look fake and ridiculous when it wasn't. And of course, we've covered it many, many times. Dave, our recent installments in the serial killer lectures, we've shown, in fact, that many of the serial killers, in fact, were connected to Satanism, and they call it. And by the way, another angle that I have not really gotten deep into, but I've noticed it keeps coming up: biker gangs. Biker gangs are a big part of trafficking, assassinations, all of this stuff. And I don't know all the ins and outs of that. I don't know anything about biker gangs, really. I've never been around biker gangs. That's not my ethos, right? But guess what? They come up in the cases of Eileen Wuornos. They come up in the circles of Ted Bundy. We see the biker gangs present at Altamont in the Rolling Stones Altamont Festival event. We see biker gangs in the Picton Pig Farm event. We see biker gangs, Hell's Angels. Where else do they come up? In tons of the, more than I can keep up with, right? How come all the serial killers just happen to be hanging out with all the biker gangs? Well, because biker gangs are a front, dude. And by the way, what was two whole episodes of True Detective? Biker gangs. Mm. What are they doing? Trafficking, right? Remember? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So biker gangs are a big part of this. They're definitely, infiltrated by, feds or used by intelligence agencies. I have no doubt about that. And they're connected to organized crime. They are a form of organized crime, I guess. Right? I'm not saying all. I'm sure that there's nice biker dudes out there. So biker guys, don't get your feelings hurt. I'm not talking about all of you. I'm just talking about some of these groups and networks, right? But exactly. Lost Boys has biker gangs.
Oh, yeah.
And weren't we just watching something else with? Oh, we watched that weird Nomads movie with Pierce Brosnan playing a French anthropologist who starts seeing hobo demons. But these are not just any hobo demons. These are biker Lost Boy hobo demons. Exactly. Just like old Kiefer and his Lost Boys crew.
Yeah.
I still believe through the pain, through the tears. I still believe.
Do you remember the snake lady?
Yes, she's called. This is a whole mythological thing I never heard of. What are they called?
Naga?
Yes. These are Tibetan deities. And I had never heard of this. But so I grew up watching this movie, right? And what's this snake woman? I was like, is this a Nephilim? What is this? Well, apparently in Tibetan Buddhist mythology, there is this snake woman called a Naga. Mm-hmm. So that's a real thing. And by the way, they're not just trafficking. They're trafficking young people.
Right.
Hint, hint. Now, that's all set within this broader, goofy mythology of the Numsi versus Dalai Lama boy. Right? Mm-hmm. But, again, this stuff is... that's really. By the way, Eddie realizes this by paying attention to the tattoos. He notices the dragon tattoo, and then he figures out the biker gang, right, that's trafficking these kids, and the biker gang is connected to these really wealthy people. Numsi has this gigantic wealthy estate. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's got the little Dalai Lama boy, Lil Lama. He's got him imprisoned in there in a big magic circle that he can't get out of. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's a big old sigil on the ground.
Yep. It's a binding thing, like a Solomon's what do you call it?
Seal of Solomon?
Well, the hexagram is a binding
thing. Yeah. When the guy turns into the demon at the end is pretty... Yes,
Tywin is a demon, but it's like an 80s claymation demon. It's pretty funny. You watch it now, and there's a lot of inexplicable things that, like, why do they run into that big water silo?
Yeah.
And it just happens to fall. I mean, it's inexplicable stuff. I don't know. But it's still a fun B movie. So, but you can tell there was some editing issues and probably some... they probably rushed the last part of the movie and filmed it in a rush. That's probably why it's like that.
This is more of a kid's movie? Or what was it rated? Do you remember?
That's a good question. I mean, it has some pretty creepy themes to be a kid movie. I'm going to guess PG-13.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's rated. Yeah, PG-13. Directed by Michael Ritchie. What did he do? He did the Fletch movies, and he did Cool Runnings. So, I don't know. He did a lot of stuff with Chevy Chase. So, I like the movie. I think it's interesting. Obviously, the mythology is weird. I mean, it's a bizarre. I mean, he can astral project. He can heal. There's a lot of butterfly imagery. So
he raises her from the dead in the end.
Yeah, he does a resurrection miracle. Exactly. So if you're looking for a fun 80s movie that's in the vein of kind of Twin Peaks, but is also ridiculous. Imagine Twin Peaks years before Twin Peaks mixed with Beverly Hills Cop. Mm-hmm. And you've got Golden Child. I can't get it right. I can't tell if Eddie's doing the laugh with the air going in or going out.
Yeah.
So it's the going in, not
Yes.
But hey, that was a genius catchphrase, dude. Like, everyone in the 80s knew Eddie Murphy from that laugh. So
yeah.
he just did that goofy laugh and everybody knew it.
What's your catchphrase?
Tom Coon. Kuminanos, I don't know.
Jelly Belly. Everyone needs a catchphrase.
Oh, you're talking about the Saturday Night Live catchphrase comment?
Yeah.
It's not Jelly Belly. It's
Jelly beef.
Beef jelly.
Beef,
Yeah. Beef jelly. Right, now that's the Keenan joke.
What's
but
the worst catchphrase?
Worst
Cut
catchphrase?
it out.
Dave Coulier's is probably the worst catchphrase,
Yeah.
or Jeff Foxworthy jokes are pretty bad, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, where are we at?
I think that's it for tonight. We have 4 to do. In
If you like Southern food, you might be a redneck. If you've ever talked like this, you might be Jeff Foxworthy.
What do you think?
I used to like him.
Cringe.
I was a teenager.
I didn't like him when I was a teenager. I was like, that dude's.
I mean,
These are awful.
I liked all stand-up.
But hey, if you want to appeal to a boomer crowd and become a boomer millionaire, blue collar comedy tour person, that is what works. Boomers love that stuff, dude. They love having some dumb catchphrase like that to repeat, right? Like go to work at the water cooler the next day. Right.
What? Oh, but I like Rodney Dangerfield. No respect. I get no respect. That's a good.
Yeah, but he's. Oh, I'll tell you. What's that stupid Ron White joke that everybody told like over and over and over?
Tater salad.
Remember that? Oh my gosh. How many boomers would like you have to hear tater salad? I don't even know the joke. It's just I was drunk and the cops pulled me over and they had tater salad and I had another drink and the police said tater salad. I said, officer, son of a bitch, tater salad. Ah! So funny. Right? I mean, what is that even joke even, right?
Pop.
Who's worse, that or... Yeah, that's like pop. Exactly. Who's worse, that or Jeff Foxworthy? I don't know.
Tater salad's the worst.
What is the joke even?
Tater salad.
You're gonna get.
He said tater salad again. Oh, he said it 5 times in a row. Oh. Tater salad. Now I'm gonna have to go look up what his joke even is. Tater salad. The Boomer Comedy Tour. What it? Boomer Collar Tom, the Boomer Collar Comedy Tour.
Who would be the worst?
Larry the Cable Guy. Oh my god.
Dave Coulier.
Oh yeah, we could pick like the worst stand-up tour ever.
Yeah.
It would be Jeff Foxworthy, Dave Coulier. Who's the worst stand-ups? We could have like
The
we could
plumber guy.
throw in the neurotic, like a Richard Lewis, like a neurotic.
And
my mom and then I got my man period and then I was studying my own psychology and then I realized I wanted to kill myself and then I tried to kill myself and I realized I wasn't even able to kill myself. I suck at killing myself.
That's actually, I think that is a Richard Lewis joke. I actually think that is one of his jokes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have to have a bitter woman.
He's like, I was going to kill myself, and then I realized I couldn't kill myself. Then I realized I suck at killing myself. I can't even kill myself right.
Maybe I want to kill myself again.
Maybe I want to kill myself again.
Yeah.
Who are the worst boomer era, like stand? It doesn't have to be boomer. It could also be.
And the worst stand-up.
Who are the worst stand-ups? By the way, most of the stand-ups are the worst stand-ups, dude. Yeah, Amy Schumer's too easy.
Wow,
That's too
yeah.
easy. No, I mean like of men, blue collar, like I don't even know who. Like
Joe Rogan's really bad. I never even heard his stand-up before.
No, Dan Cook's not the worst. By the way, what's his face? He did a great impression of Dan Cook. It was hilarious. Charlie Day from Always Sunny. If you watch that Saturday Night Live clip where he does an impression of Dan Cook, it's pretty awesome. Dave Brenner, Sinbad, Kreischer. I'm gonna have to say, Ron White and Jeff Foxworthy. They're even worse, dude. Jeff Dunham.
You know.
No, Andy Kaufman. He's one of the best of all time. Don't diss. Nay, no dissing Andy Kaufman now. Even if you're a mod, you can't diss.
You know who I hate?
Tom Green's not that bad. He's actually has. Excuse me, Sam Hyde is not funny. You about to get banned? That's a ban right there. See ya. Sam Hyde is one of the funniest of all time.
I don't like the guy with the puppets. Is that Jeff Dunham?
I think so. Any puppet comedian,
Yeah, I
dude,
don't
get
like
that out
those
of here.
guys.
Puppet comedians are garbage, dude. I'm gonna vote. I don't even count the women. I did a whole stream making fun of the women comedians, and then I think that stream got banned because it was just me dissing on.
Oh, get her done. Who's that?
Get her done.
Is that Larry the Cable Guy? Is that his catchphrase?
I don't know. Get her done. Tater salad. Get her done.
Oh, remember that? Don't forget the other boomer quality. Here's your sign. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Here's your sign. That dude sucks.
Carrot Top. Pretty bad.
Norm Macdonald's funny. Andy Kaufman is genius. Oh, okay. You're just clarifying. Yes. Carrot Top is actually not as bad as the people that we're naming. So, some of the people that got memed into being bad actually aren't as bad as... I'll tell you, have you ever seen this... Howie Mandel's old stand-up is... Whoa, dude. Because he had this weird tick where he would act like he was this like spurgy dude. His whole routine was him spurging out with a bunch of props. Prop comics are pretty bad, dude. I mean, that's like, whoa, dude. Mitch Hedwig. Mitch Hedberg was funny. That's crazy. He's definitely funny. I might have to reinvestigate Sam Kinison because I didn't used to think he was funny, but maybe nowadays if I went back, I would get it. It would be funnier. I don't know.
Who's that guy who's really...
Gallagher is one of the worst. Gallagher is not funny. I've been dissing Gallagher all my life. I can't stand Gallagher.
Who's that guy that...
Worst. We should do a whole show just on worst stand-ups making fun of him.
that
Zach Galifianakis is hilarious. Who? Oh, he's not
Doug
one of the worst.
Stanhope?
He's not one of the worst.
He's so raunchy.
Yeah, but even being raunchy doesn't make you one of the worst. I mean, look, we're naming literal garbage people. Okay, like, yeah, yeah. Actually, I don't think Stephen Wright is that bad. Some of the jokes are really dumb, but some of them are pretty funny. He's kind of like a pre-Mitch Hedberg, but it's a little dated, so it's not as funny now. But some of the Stephen Wright jokes are funny. But Gallagher is one of the worst. Easily. Jeff Foxworthy is one of the worst.
Oh, Tim Allen, yeah.
Yes,
That's a catchphrase.
I know.
Technically.
Yes, Tim Allen's stand-up is one of the worst. Ooh, Andrew Dice Clay is so gross that he goes into the worst category. But even though he's gross, some of his gross is actually a little bit funnier than some of the people that we've been. Yeah, Bill Engvall. He's like, here's your sign. Oh man. Yes, yes. So we got a lot of good contenders for the worst. I don't even count like the 60s stand-ups. I mean, they're stuff like those. We got a lot of bad ones. So it's so easy to list just like garbage stand-up comedians. At one time I wanted to be a stand-up. I'm so glad I didn't go that route. Like just stand-up is cringe. It's just, I mean, there's a couple people that I like, right? Our friends that we know, Sam Tripoli, like we support Sam, these kind of people. But like it just became somehow in the last 10 years, 15 years, just the whole realm of stand-up is that you have to be a garbage, nihilist, atheist, piece of trash person, a garbage man person to be in the realm. You know what I mean? For the most part. Not everybody, but I mean, we support Tripoli around here. So anyway, fun times. Thank you. Yeah. So in part 2, what are we going to do in part 2?
We're going to do the Magus.
The Magus. Remember, the Magus movie is not as good as the book, obviously. A lot of people diss the movie. However, it's still worth watching. So it is still relevant to our topic. A lot of Eyes Wide Shut type stuff going on in the Magus. We got Michael Caine is on the run. Michael Caine's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. The bloody Michael Caine.
Yep.
Bloody Michael Caine about to figure out some stuff.
And then we got your favorite
Lord of War.
Nick Cage. Cage.
Got a little Nick Cage gonna be involved in selling weapons for generals. The book, this movie is actually based on a Trine Day book.
Yes, this is a movie based on a Trine Day book. So if you've not read Daniel Esselstyn's excellent Trine Day book, Shadow Masters, Victor Bout. Nicholas is playing Victor Bout.
And you got
That's my publisher if you don't know.
the game with
Michael Douglas. I like this movie more and more. The more I see it, the more I like this movie. I think that, and by the way, there's a weird whole background to the history of the John Fowles estate. John Fowles wrote The Magus. He also wrote that weird book, The Collector, which influenced different serial killers. Leonard Lake and Charles Ng and is it Bobby Berdella? One of the other ones was a big fan of this John Fowles book. Famous books, by the way, not fringe books. I've not read The Collector, and they also made a movie out of The Collector, right? Who's this creepy serial killer dude. But the Magus mentions the Illuminati. And by the way, the book is more graphic, obviously, than what's in the... the book tells you what kind of stuff they make Michael Caine watch when Conchise is running his psyops on him. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll get into all that in part 2. It's the movie doesn't execute the ending very well, but the book has an ambiguous ending. Anyway, we'll get to all that. What's next?
last one, Parallax View.
Many requests for Parallax View over the last 5-6 years. We finally are going to do it. Looking forward to that. So that's what you'll get in part 2. Subscribe over at Jay's Analysis.
We have to.
$4.95 a month, $6 a year. You can also get my excellent books. That's not me. That is the confirmed decision of the internet that the books are excellent. 300 plus 5-star reviews. Signed copies at Jay's Analysis. Both 1 and 2 are needed to be got by you. Both 1 and 2 needed to be got by you. And they're all signed. Yes, they're all signed. All of them. All signed. Super chats, go.
Super chats, go. An hour. Freedom Within, $10. Fun times. It was fun.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
A lot of vagina, $10. Are you pals with Milo Yiannopoulos? I would love to hear you two debate or discuss Catholicism versus Orthodoxy or any topic for that.
Orthodoxy. I've never talked to Milo. I do not know Milo. So, don't know if there's going to be any discussions on Orthodoxy.
Dara A, $1. Hi Jay, thanks for the great work. In one of your previous videos, you said that there was a lot of symbolism in literature. I would like to know what's your thoughts on Bulgakov. What?
Master and Margarita.
Okay.
I've not read Master and Margarita. I'm familiar with it. I have read books in that vein, right? I've read several Umberto Eco books. But I've not read Master and Margarita. But I've been told many times that I need to read it. I'm more so a fan of Flannery O'Connor. I like Southern Gothic writing. I like Faulkner. I like Dostoevsky. So that's what I prefer when it comes to lit. Anyway. Thank you guys.
Anyway.
Like and share. Subscribe.